Yes. Cool. Recording. Yes.
All right.
Hi. Hi guys. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. So this is the Art podcast. Let's talk creatives, where I speak with creative individuals throughout the world. And today's special guest is Barry Yusufu.
Yeah, Yusuf.
Yusuf. How do I
Yeah.
pronounce
It's spelled Yusuf, but it's pronounced Yusuf.
Yusuf? Okay. Okay. Yusuf.
Yeah.
Barry Yusuf.
Yeah.
And you're a contemporary conceptual artist, but you've coined a term called collorealism.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain to the people listening and watching what does collorealism mean?
Okay. Collorealism was a phase in my art process. It was a period where my thoughts were very chaotic and not organized, and I was in love with the beauty of how the human skin was realism, and I couldn't see myself, you know, putting a peaceful piece in a peaceful environment or a peaceful background.
Mm,
So whenever I'm done creating this beautiful figure, like it just speaks to me to destroy the piece at the same time. It's you trying to embrace both beauty and chaos. So I immediately, when the feeling comes, I either just get my charcoal or my paint and just keep splashing on the whole work.
mm,
Like, I felt it was a period where I was really unstable. So many things about an artist's emotions can affect the outcome of his works.
of course.
So kolo literally means madness. It's a Nigerian term, so it means madness.
Yeah.
So colonialism means realism with madness, basically. Yeah,
Oh, cool, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. So yeah, so I was doing a little bit of research on your bio. So obviously we just went through Colo, and so you do painted abstract work,
Yeah.
and you do paper mache sculptures,
Yeah,
and you do charcoal figure drawings as well.
yeah, yeah.
So cool. So, but I discovered your work through the charcoal figure drawing. So maybe we can touch on that. So you know what? Let's start on the paper mache sculptures. So, can you talk us a little bit? You know what type of work you produce in terms of your sculptures?
Um, my sculptures are not realistic when it comes to sculpting. They are not realistic.
Okay.
I create, basically from my imaginations. Now, what got me into using paper mache for my sculptures was basically because of lack of, reach of materials.
Mm,
During my early periods when I started art, I couldn't afford to get clay because clay is not really something you just go out in front of a door and get. So I
mm,
couldn't afford it. And then I remember back in primary school when
mm,
we were still kids, like they taught us how to create using paper, newspapers, that you soak the newspaper for like a day and then it gets really soft, and then you pound it and then use it to mold with starch. So I just thought to myself, okay, that would be cool. How about I just use tissue paper, since tissue papers are really soft and I wouldn't have to wait for so long for them to dissolve. So I started using papers to create, because at that point in time, I had a strong need to create to save myself. Like, whenever everything gets overwhelming, I think art is best is the best place to feel relieved. So I just created these figures of faces which are not realistic but just imaginary, and I just bring them to life. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that. And Cool. So if you could touch on the abstract paintings as well. So what type of style of abstract paintings do you produce?
Basically expressionism.
Mm.
My abstracts are just, are just based on my current state of mind. And the kind of abstracts I may do depends on the season.
Yeah.
Depends on the season. If I want to venture into abstract now, like you see a certain level of resemblance in the abstracts in the series which I will create for, like, let's say the whole of 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks I wouldn't feel the same way, and it would be a different energy entirely, and whatever mood or emotions I'm feeling at that period will actually determine how my abstract pieces would look like. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on I really appreciate how you use like what you're describing to me. You're using different mediums of art to express different modes of
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, so okay, cool. So let's talk about your charcoal figure drawings as well. So can you tell us the concepts, themes, and ideas behind these pieces?
Okay. Well, I'm basically a figurative artist, and my major medium is charcoal. I'm good at paintings. I'm good at you know realistic paintings with oil, but my comfort zone is charcoal. Now that's because I enjoy drawing the
Hmm.
dark skin of my black people.
Yes. Yeah.
And charcoal immediately represents the black skin.
Mm.
And I have this love for, the skin tones of a black man or black woman or black lady.
Yeah.
So I use charcoal to represent that. I don't know if I can show you. I'm working on a piece right now.
Yeah.
Right
Cool. Yeah.
now,
you could show. Yeah.
just
Cool.
to,
Yeah.
all right. This is the current piece I'm working on. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
All right, it's a charcoal drawing figure,
Mm.
okay? And then I'm gradually going into paint, realism here with oil paints. Now I love to I love to mix up. I love to mix up my mediums when I work because I feel it's interesting, and I'm literally trying to paint black people in all the colors they refer them to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how I see black people. Now, the ideas I create with my figure drawings, I try to educate people using gestures, educate people about the little things they don't pay attention to in life,
Mm.
and those little things are actually really important. Like I always give instance of the piece I created, "Love Thy Brother," where
Yeah.
you see two guys,
Yeah.
one being held by the other from the back. When I
Yeah.
created that piece, when the idea came to me, I really wanted letting people understand the power, or you know the strength of brotherhood,
Yeah.
where we can reach with our brothers.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you can't do anything by yourself,
Yeah.
and that's the truth. No man is an island, and if you throw a stone with the strength of two people, it goes farther.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the piece "Love Thy Brother" was to explain to people how far one can reach with the support of his brother. But immediately people saw the piece when I created it, they were like, "Oh, this is a gay piece." Like, almost immediately, they'd be like, "This is a gay piece," and really, it's not. It has nothing to do with it, but it's a very sensitive topic, which I believe the world is not ready for yet. But as an artist, your art is supposed to actually make people feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
I believe that's where you call it art, when people don't really feel comfortable about it, or the piece, your artworks are not predictable. Your artworks are not predictable. I believe
Yeah.
that's what really makes your artworks strong and speak out. Like, I believe so many people were able to see themselves in the piece I created, like, not even really from my own perspective, they are now seeing it from their own angle, how they relate to it, and that was really important to me. Everybody was giving his own their own theories about the piece, and it was really interesting. The other piece I created was which I try to still enlighten people,
Mm.
um, is the Kingmaker.
The
There
kingdom.
was
Yeah.
the Kingmaker 1, the Kingmaker 2. I I made the Kingmaker one using an allegory where you see a lady holding the chess player, the king chess player,
Mm.
in her hands. Now, it basically just, represents women and the vital role they play in our economy or in the system of the world. Basically, like, they are so underlooked and they play a very important role. Now, the piece describes a woman who picks up a man who basically was just a man, but with her care, attention, and support, the man becomes king.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first piece, Kingmaker One, was the use of an allegory, and the second piece, I used figures to actually tell the story, where you see a man sitting down, in the bosom of a woman, and she's holding him with a crown on his head. Okay, now that really speaks on the strength of women, because I believe women are stronger than men. That's how I see women. I was raised by my mom, and I saw her do what men did in raising me. Like, she taught me how to be a man, she taught me how to stand for myself. She will still cook. She will still be there for you when you are sad. I mean, which father would do that? They literally don't have the time. So I believe women were blessed with a certain level of strength that men don't have. And it is that strength that keeps the world going, because if women never had that strength, they wouldn't be strong men today. You
I
get
have
my
to. I don't just get your point. I empathize with that 110%. I too was raised by a strong woman. Uh,
Wow.
so I understand 110%. So like if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't have nothing. I wouldn't have a roof over my. I wouldn't. So
Exactly.
everything was, yeah. My mom came like to Nigeria, like came from Nigeria, in the
Oh, wow.
80s, and she just worked her ass off. She set up a business and like so yeah, everything.
Everything.
Everything. I seriously everything I owe to my mom. So everything. So I definitely don't just get it. I
You,
100%.
you,
I
you you could relate
understand.
to it.
I totally relate. I totally relate to it, and I do believe women women are they're like the glue of family.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they've like I do believe like women are the strongest. To be totally honest, I empathize with that. Um,
Yeah.
they're like they're the backbone of any family.
Of, of every family.
Every family.
Without the woman,
That's
there's
just
no
my belief. People don't have to agree with me, but that's what I believe. So yeah,
growth.
yeah, definitely.
So,
Uh,
uh,
mm.
okay.
No, no, sir. You want
Yeah.
to.
So my art is mostly centered around women. It's mostly centered because I believe a certain level of your personality should show in the works you create. You understand? All my pieces, you get to see a story from my childhood when I've grown. You get, and I try telling those stories, not really even being intentional. It just happens. Like, when the ideas come, it revolves around women, and basically that's how I see life, and that's how I see art. So I always try to make sure women are being exalted in my pieces, in
Yeah,
my art, because I really don't want women to be looked down upon. This is not the what's it called? This is not the talk about equality, gender equality. No, it has nothing to do with gender equality. Like women are strong in their own areas,
Yeah.
and men are strong in their own areas. I mean, a woman cannot be a bodyguard. Okay, you get my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
A woman cannot be a bouncer. Okay, except she dedicates. She really wants to do that. But I mean, which man would want to come cook, wash diapers? You get my point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
And
would be really hard for a man
yeah.
to do. But a woman would do that. It's like nothing. She does it like it's nothing
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
up to them. I think that's strength. Yeah.
Yeah, 110%. Like, obviously men and women are different or built differently. And yeah, yeah, definitely. Like you just need to value, like you have to value both. You have to value both sides,
Yeah.
One's
Value
not better than the other, but
the other.
my, but my personal belief is like, you know, the woman is like, in African culture, the women are the strongest.
Are the strongest actually.
Yeah, they actually are the strongest, really. And in my experience is, it's the truth. Like my mom raised me, so yeah, I connect with that 110%. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, every artist in West Africa, I've asked this question. What's the scene like? What's the art scene like in Nigeria?
The art scene in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, how I see the art scene in Nigeria, I think is weak. The art scene in Nigeria is really, really, really weak because they literally they literally ignore upcoming artists.
Okay.
Yeah, like the senior artists have sat in the space, and there's almost no room for us.
Mm.
That's why you see most times we try to break through the international market where we
Yeah.
are really valued as we should be. You
Yes.
know, for someone like me, I'm a self-taught artist. Okay, everything I know, I learned through figuring. I learned through
Yeah.
practice, sleepless
Yeah.
nights,
Yeah.
standing for hours for 8 hours every day, trying
Yeah.
to perfect my craft. Now I don't have a certificate for that. I didn't go to school to learn that. I feel you can become anything you want to
Most.
when you in the work, when you are hardworking, when you try to be creative and you try to think out of the box.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be judged by your age or your height or your color or education. Creativity knows no one. It comes to anyone. Inspiration comes to anyone and knows no one. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. So basically, the art system here doesn't respect that. They want to keep hearing the big names in the system already, and they don't want to give chances to, we the young upcoming artists. And then when they now finally start hearing your name out there, they be like, oh, 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 oh. Then they now want to start reaching out to you back in Nigeria here, and by that time your price is up and you really have no time for them. Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel the art system in Nigeria should be refashioned where more platforms that will be able to receive and help grow young upcoming artists should be implemented. I mean, we can't just keep working. Not so many people, not everybody will be lucky enough to break through to the international market. There are so many artists who are practicing and don't even know the power of social media in the first place. They still believe in the local galleries, local art fairs. I don't know if you get, and those local galleries and art fairs won't do you good. I've been to
Yeah.
almost more than 15 exhibitions in Nigeria here.
Okay.
You get, and I mean, I can't say that this is what those exhibitions did for me. You get, but immediately I broke through to the international market. Like it all changed for me. I really knew my value after then. Like
Yeah.
the value increased. And I currently have the mentality that I can no longer work with local galleries or art bodies or fairs. You understand? Because I wasn't given the opportunity when I was down here. So now
Yes.
the opportunities are coming when I'm way above it.
Yeah.
So I feel art system here is weak and more attention should be paid to it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So talking about breaking through to the international market, can you talk us through that initial process when you initially made that jump to the international market?
Um, well, my breakthrough to the international market was early this year. Um, I've been I've been working. I basically started art 2017. I picked up a pencil 2017, November 2017, and that's when I started my art journey. I told myself
Yeah.
I was going to make a living of art. And at some point, I had to leave school. I had to drop out of school to follow this dream because I felt the system was trying to condition me and make me see life differently,
Mm.
limit me. So I had to really, break free to find myself. And when after I left school, I was on fire. I kept dropping works. I was dropping a piece almost every month,
Yeah.
and I was I always push my works on social media. I push my works on Twitter, Instagram. Instagram has really played a very vital role in helping me in my art journey. And I got discovered by this lady in Harlem. I think she saw I believe my work got featured on the platform, and then she got to see my work. And at that point, there was this black life celebration um, exhibition in Harlem where they
Yeah.
do, the general celebration of Black Lives, February. And
Yeah.
then I got the opportunity to exhibit at one of the biggest art fairs in Harlem. And that was it for me. She sent me a message and asked I send my works, and I
Mm.
did. And immediately my works got there. The opening night, the second day, I mean, two of my works sold
Nice.
already. Yeah, and she even told me an instance where someone came and was like, he wanted one of my works.
Mm.
And they told him the work has been sold already. And he said, if they give him this work, he's going to buy every piece in that book.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have never seen this happen in Nigeria here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I have never seen where my work was this valued in Nigeria. Okay. And I was like, this is interesting. So my works could be valued this way. I remember some exhibitions I've been to in Nigeria, and people were like, why do you draw so realistic? Like, why is it so real? Why is it like a picture? Okay. And I'm like, that is my freedom. That's how I enjoy art. I enjoy creating, you know, figures that way. And they were like, nah, I can't buy someone's face and put in my house. Okay. But the international market is demanding figurative arts, which I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Do you think I should settle for Nigerian for the Nigerian scene or the international scene?
Mm.
You
Mm.
get the point. And I was really grateful to her. Um, Her name is Joyous, and I think that was my breakthrough. And since then, it's been a different story. All my years of struggle just changed at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I really do appreciate that because I'm trying to get to the bottom of that block in the art scene in Nigeria. So I'm just trying to figure. That's because I don't know much myself. What's going
Yeah.
on there. That's why I have to. That's why I started off this podcast, just to investigate, just to see how is the art scene like in Nigeria. Because I'm keep on stumbling across all these incredibly talented artists. You know, based in Nigeria, and I'm hearing these stories over and over again. I started 2 years ago,
I'm,
3 years ago, but the
I'm
innate
telling you,
talent, the innate talent
Nigeria,
is incredible.
Nigeria owns the most creative artists in the world.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I think so. Even because, I know from day one, like you know, before Nigeria, like Yoruba land,
Yeah.
the
Creativity
artists,
on fire.
like, you know what I mean? Like there are pieces in the British Museum in London
Gems, yeah.
that
Yeah.
hold pieces like dated back 800 years old,
Yeah.
from the Yoruba people, you know, before a night there was a Nigeria, there was like the Yoruba
Yeah.
people
Like
before
they've been creative from,
from
from day.
day one, like like realistic masks. I posted it on my Instagram page,
Yeah.
of some of the monarchs,
Yeah. Yeah.
within the Yoruba tribes, and it's just and like I set up this my whole channel. Really, one of my key missions is to shift the the paradigm, the perception of African culture within art and media,
Yeah.
because I want to see, because I think the key problem is, I don't think there's enough people within the diaspora, regardless of whether you're on African turf or you're in Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
There has to be a massive support system within the diaspora. So you
Yeah.
have to like you have to big up your, but like thy love thy brother is just really impressive to me, man. That just impresses me, to be honest,
Thank you
because
very much.
we have to support, like I have to like you have to big up your artwork. Oh, I have to big up. Oh, there's one brother there. He's a film director. Oh, there's this
Yeah.
girl there. She's an actress. She's like,
Yeah.
he's sick. This person does
Yeah.
costume design. This person
Yeah.
does poetry. We have to value ourselves, man, because even in everything we do, for some odd reason, there's like a weird thing that's happening. Like, music, film,
Yeah.
hip hop music. Like, come on, man. Like, like we're creating all this shit, but we have to wait for someone else to give us,
Yeah.
the value.
Yeah.
But we
Actually,
create,
we can
but we
value
actually,
ourselves.
yeah, yeah. That's the bottom line. Within the diaspora, we have to value ourselves. You have to value yourself, So,
Yeah.
so but yeah, like my dream is just to see that shift within the art scene, within the African diaspora. So,
I would really want to, thank you on behalf of all young upcoming artists. Like what you are doing is rare. Not so many people are out there, looking out for us.
yeah,
It's basically we looking out for ourselves out
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Even when you start your art journey, it's basically you who sees the future. Nobody else does, and till it
yeah,
starts.
definitely.
So like thank you for looking out for we young artists.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time, and like I just appreciate you just being yourself, and I appreciate you sharing, some, very interesting insight into what's happening in Nigeria. So yeah, I'm very excited. I've spoken to quite a few Nigerian artists, and I'm just impressed. Like I was speaking to one artist, and I spoke with I spoke with so many artists, and I just feel you guys, like you young guys, are like the new like superheroes. You know what I mean? Like the art, like because it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Like we need our own Batman, we need our own Superman, we need our
Yeah,
own like big epic movies. We need our own designer, fashion.
yeah,
We need
true.
everything,
Yeah, yeah.
even with cars. Like with cars,
Like
technology,
in every aspect of creativity.
every aspect. Even like I was watching one video of one young engineer, and he in Nigeria, and he created I think one of Nigeria's first sports car.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and it was interesting because initially like he was struggling to get the support of his family, and it was interesting to watch his struggle, and his journey. So
And I don't even think he was even really, supported even after he created that thing by the government or by the system. I think,
yeah,
well, from what I saw, I think he was offered, was it 1 million or something like that? And then there are shows in Nigeria like the Big Brother where you get people who come into the show and just, do whatever they want and end up coming out with like 25 million, you know, 40 million just for a show. And there are people actually putting out a high level of creativity and
definitely,
there are zero supports,
def-
and when you're trying to support them, it's like you're counting change and you are giving it to them.
definitely, definitely. Because I think the secret to all this major success that you're seeing everywhere else around the world is not stopping, not giving up, not stopping, not giving up. So yeah, I urge anyone that wants to get into any creative field, anything, please, I urge you, do not give up. Please do not stop because it can happen. It's possible, you know.
So
It can happen for anyone, you know.
I believe that's always been my drive, because there have
Yeah,
been so many situations where I had family members tell me, are you sure you want to keep going?
yeah,
Like it's not paying. Art
yeah,
is not paying. You've been to 13 exhibitions and you haven't sold any work. It's not paying.
yeah, yeah,
And to me, I always just felt like, you know, my art hasn't reached the right audience.
yeah,
My art hasn't gotten to the right people yet because the world is so big and we really underrate that. And I believe all I needed to do was to just keep pushing until my art got to the real people. And I
yes,
believe it's the same thing, whether you are into music, into
yeah,
cartoons,
yeah,
into movie production,
yes,
you just have to keep pushing. You're creative. There's someone who's going to vibe with whatever you're doing. Like there's
definitely,
someone out there who's definitely going to vibe with what you're doing. So you just have to keep pushing until you meet that person.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And like I urge anyone who's out there, you know, whatever career path you pursue, utilize social media, reach out to people. If there's a filmmaker that you really appreciate, contact their people. You know, everyone has time on their hands right now. You can I've been fortunate enough to meet like really high profile people in the film industry, the art industry, and they're human beings like everyone else. You know, all the big people you see that have made it successfully in the world, you know, they're human beings. They worked really hard. They didn't do any magic or anything or any bullshit
Yeah.
like this. They worked hard and they
Yeah.
didn't give up, you
Yeah.
know?
It's all hard work. It's all hard work nonstop.
Definitely, definitely.
Like for the past 2 days now, I've been standing for almost 8 hours every day
Yeah,
painting.
yeah,
You get, and
mm,
you would ask me, why am I doing that? Why am I pushing myself this hard? It's because I know, there's demand for it out there. And when I'm
definitely,
done with the piece, I get to sell it. You get
definitely.
to sell it to someone who actually appreciates my work and really wants to own it. And that's the most
Yeah,
important thing. That's not really about the money. The
yeah,
money is good to keep on going, but appreciation is
definitely.
more important than even money. The money is just the term value there,
Yeah,
but appreciation is really important. That's where we want to get our works to, people who
mm,
really appreciate it. Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I just predict, I just forecast amazing things happening within the diaspora, within Africa in terms of art and media, and I think it's important for anyone out there, maybe like you're getting some discouragement from outside forces. Just go online, watch interviews with some artists, perhaps like watch a video with Kerry James Marshall. He's a really great artist and really great talks on challenging the perception of art, challenging the perception of classical art. So
Yeah.
it's a really interesting artists just, to look out and to listen to as well. So just look for as much encouraging things as possible to fill your mind with, and just envision yourself doing what you want to do, and don't just envision it, take action. You're alive,
Yeah.
you're not on the sideline, you're on the playing field of life. So go out there, take action, don't think about it too much, just do it. You know?
Just do it. Thank you for
just
that.
just
Thank you for
just
that.
just just do it. I encourage people, don't worry about being terrible. you know just just
No,
just do
don't
it.
worry about being terrible. And in fact,
Do it. Yeah.
I have something to share about that. Like in art, you have you have to learn to embrace your mistakes.
Yeah.
You can never get perfect in drawing
Yeah.
without embracing your mistakes.
Yeah.
It is your mistakes that show you the way to the right way.
Yeah.
If you don't make mistakes, you would never get better.
Yeah.
You would never be good. If you try avoiding mistakes, you would never be good in art.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you should jump into art even without the knowledge of perfection, and then make sure you don't repeat, you don't make sure you learn from your mistakes. But if you try
110%.
avoiding mistakes, you will never be a better artist.
It's a
So, like, as you said, just go out there, don't think it too much, don't worry about making mistakes, and just see yourself become good.
Yeah, definitely. Because as you were a baby, wasn't you crawling on the floor before you could walk?
Yeah, you will.
So it's natural, it's nature, it's a part of life. You know, everything, there's a process within everything. Things don't just poof out of anything.
Yeah,
Human beings, we grew in our mother's womb. Things, any great thing in life, there's a process.
there's
So
a
there's a process, because we're tricked by media. We see all these beautiful things like movies, even like movies. You see the final result of a
yeah,
movie, you know,
yeah.
but behind the scenes of a movie, there are
Great work.
hundreds. There's a shitloads of work. It's not pretty.
Mistakes.
There's loads of technicians
Yeah,
behind the scenes. There's so the reason why there's loads. There's a lot of work in place. There's like
yeah,
hundreds of years of experience behind
yeah,
the camera. Hundreds of years of experience. That's what you're seeing in a cinema. Hundreds of
yeah,
years of experience, actually.
yeah.
So,
Actually,
so you can't be amazing overnight. Definitely, as you said,
it's
embrace
impossible.
the mistakes is a part of your sauce, man. It's a part, like, it's like the recipe, like you need,
Thank you.
the
That's the word.
process.
The recipe.
It's like it's the sauce. It's like the salt, or the special ingredient is the mistake. That's a part of the process, So even this podcast, I've never done any talking in camera before. I did this podcast, but I thought to myself, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just give it a go. Let me
Yeah.
just let me try it out. I've done like 22 episodes so far, but I
Wow.
can't find.
Interesting.
So I can't find out whether I'm good or not until I've done 500 episodes.
Wow.
Do you understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
when I've done 100 episodes, then I'll see, oh, how is this going now?
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't go, you don't know how it's going from your third attempt or your fourth attempt.
So
You
it
have to
has
just go, go, go,
keep
go, go.
going. And I think growth is even an unconscious thing in the first place. You wouldn't even know you are growing. There will
Yeah,
be a period where you will try to see if you are growing or not, and you won't even know if you are growing. But trust
yeah,
me, you are growing.
yeah,
Like, it takes a moment for you to realize, oh, you've actually grown, and you've not just grown, you've really grown.
yeah.
Okay, it's just like you having a child in your house. You don't see the child growing. You
That's
can't
the
see with
truth.
your eyes that this child is growing.
Yeah,
Okay, but the child is growing now. For someone who has gone out and spent like a year and is back, you'll be like, whoa, this kid is grown. He's a
yeah,
man already.
yeah,
You get
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
that's how growth is. You can't see it. You
Definitely,
can't see it. You need someone else to tell you you've grown.
definitely.
Whatever you're doing is actually better now, and then you start to see it.
Yeah, yeah. You have to just live with it. And there's another analogy. I'm paraphrasing here, but with Idris Elba, he was talking about how he likes to swim a lot. And
Yeah,
while you're swimming, you don't look at the clock to check the laps. You just swim.
just keep
You
swimming.
just keep swimming. You don't look at the clock. You just keep swimming. Just keep
Yeah,
going. So yeah, just keep doing it. Like as you said,
true.
8 hours a day. Keep doing it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Let me go through some of my notes actually, just to see what else we could cover.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So what influences have you got? Like perhaps like who has contributed towards your work? Who has influenced your work?
Well, there are so many people that have influenced my work. Basically, my friends in the art system have really made me grow
Mm,
so far. Like calling some of the names out here. My friends like Okolo Oliver, Collins Obijaku, Enoch Jr., um, Kale Jaye, Tosin, like
yeah,
and Adams, like we were like a group of young artists who started art in Abuja,
yeah,
and we saw ourselves pushing each other, you
yeah,
know, making each other become better. Like
yeah,
when I met these guys, I wasn't even really good in art, but they
mm,
kept pushing me. They kept telling me, "Yo, you need to work hard. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to go get this. You need to go get." And then I
yeah,
started growing. But
fantastic.
speaking of, big artists that have inspired me, we're talking of the likes of Simika Kanda, um, um, Arinze. Those are the
Yeah,
realists.
yeah,
Emmanuel Descanio. You know, most of those people I admired their patience, and
mm,
I had to learn from it because I wasn't a patient person at all.
yeah,
At all, and art is a lot of patience. So I had to really learn. Where I started hearing of instances where someone draws a piece for a month, for a whole month you're working on one work. Like it takes a whole lot of effort, and you
yeah,
hear these people, they work 8 hours a day.
mm.
um I think I remember Emmanuel Descanio saying he worked on a piece for 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, on one piece for about 2 years. So you can imagine the the level of effort that went into that work and how magnificent the work would look at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You get, so those are basically the few. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really, really talented artists. Really talented artists.
Yeah.
Tosin's gone on to do amazing things. Very, very impressive artists. Obviously the list is amazing of
Thank
artists.
you. Thank
Yes. So during this lockdown period, have you taken on what else have you done to occupy your time besides from the work? Perhaps have you been reading any specific books or watching movies or anything like this?
The pandemic period when it when it got really serious, it came to everyone as a shock.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't in a good place.
Okay.
Like for about three to 4 weeks, I wasn't able to create anything
Mm,
because I wasn't in the right frame of mind. The
mm,
the, the whole situation, whether the world would get back from this or not, was really serious. I couldn't find myself doing anything. I
yeah.
wasn't interested in watching movies. I wasn't interested in creating. I wasn't interested in anything. I think basically it was music that kept me through.
Yeah.
You know, I was just listening to some good music, and I'm someone who literally spends almost all my life in my head. I can spend the whole day just taking in my mind, seeing the most beautiful places and the most sad places still.
Yeah.
And that's what's been keeping me going. Yeah.
Mm,
Not really books or movies or anything like that. No.
yeah. Yeah. So you just inspire yourself. You just use your imagination.
Yeah, and I also take to the net. I
Mm,
also take to the internet, social media.
yeah,
So there are a few people you could talk to that will ease your stress out, or you watch a funny meme or
mhm,
something like that. I mean, those things just find a way of bringing the balance once in a while.
mm. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah. So, do you have any plans post lockdown?
Oh, post lockdown, I'm hoping to have an exhibition in the US, hopefully.
Hmm.
Maybe a solo show.
Yeah,
Hopefully, like the plan is to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I feel I was even supposed to have a solo exhibition in the US already before the pandemic got serious,
yeah,
and
yeah,
right now that can't work out because you can't travel anywhere. So
yeah,
that's my plan, and I'm currently working on this new energy of works I have, and I want to
yeah,
go really big, large sizes.
yeah,
I want to go all in since this is what I've chosen to do for the rest of my life. I mean,
yeah,
I should take it really, really serious.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to ask, have you been approached by filmmakers to do like movie posters? I'm just curious because
Nah, not really.
okay, cool, cool,
No,
okay,
not
okay,
really.
yeah. No, there's a cinematic feel to like a lot of the Nigerian artists I've spoken with. They have like a cinematic feel to the images. So yeah,
Um,
okay, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, okay. I think last point now. So for anyone out there, perhaps that's struggling, with this lockdown situation, what advice would you give them? Perhaps you can share how you know, obviously you've kind of covered how you've been dealing with it, but perhaps
yeah.
any words of wisdom you can share with anyone perhaps struggling with this
But
period during the
for me, I believe I believe the power of creativity, can never be overemphasized. What really made me come back was that I told myself, well, if if I'm going to make it through this pandemic, like I should make it creating, and if death comes, death should find me working, you know. Like if death comes for any of us or for me, God forbid, okay, and it finds me working, I believe the energy I put into that piece at that moment will feed my family till they die. That's how I see it, or that's how I saw it, and that was my drive. I had to wake up to tell myself, I mean, the pandemic cannot last forever,
mm,
and it's not going to wipe up the whole of humanity. It's not possible. Some
yeah,
people will survive,
yeah,
and if by the grace of God I'm among those who are going to survive, I want to come back stronger and light years ahead of myself if possible. And I think for someone to find, purpose during this period, I think that should be your biggest drive.
definitely,
Finding, like, the whole world has enough time to themselves right now. Currently, like, you have the whole day and you have the next day, the whole of the next day. Like, we have so much time to actually find ourselves.
yeah,
If you want to experiment anything, you have all the time in the world to do that.
definitely,
if
definitely,
you are if you are hidden somewhere, you have all the time to find yourself. Okay, I feel the whole world has never been given this opportunity. But
definitely,
I can literally say most Nigerians actually come home they actually visit home from work because they spend their whole lives at work and visit home. Like,
mm,
but everything has changed. Right now, you have all the time to be with family, share love.
mm,
Oh, your family members haven't been able to contact you for the past 1 week. I mean, that's not possible anymore. You have all the time to communicate with them and be there for one another.
yeah,
And I think these little things should really set the difference and should give someone purpose, you
yeah,
know. and something to fight for. We really have to fight for something. If
Definitely.
at all we are
Yeah,
alive, we have to fight
yeah,
for something, and that should be the drive. The fight
definitely.
should be the drive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's a really good note to end on. For the people out there, where can they find you on social media?
Um, Basically, I'm an Instagram and Twitter person, and it's at Barry Yusufu _art. That's
Okay.
BARRYYUSUFU _art for both my IG and Twitter.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Barry Yusufu,
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time.
I
Uh,
really
yeah,
appreciate.
I appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take care, and stay safe.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace out.